Hi, welcome back to C2C World TV. I'm Yvonne Jones, your host for today's show with our lovely co-host Robin Eddleman. We are excited to have back Dr. Thomas Hill's show, also known as Dr. T's Redox Business Builders School, with his special guest this evening, John Petros, Sr., founder of Mill City Marketing MA. Dr. Thomas Hill is a longtime professional who seamlessly combines unique management tools with creative networking and marketing strategies. He holds a doctoral degree, EDD, in a field related to health and athletic performance optimization, with demonstrated expertise in redox biology along with anti aging mechanisms. Dr. T provides consulting, educational, and product development services related to health and wealth. Because we all like wealth, right, guys?
A little bit,
A little bit.
a little bit.
So C2C World TV is specifically designed by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, and today's sponsor for the show is Edible Home Gardens Ranch, RV, resorts, and tiny home communities with special, safe, and affordable locations starting at only $250 a month up to $500 a month. Investors can earn a fixed 7% to 12% per annum paid monthly or 35% fixed per each invested RV resort. Dr. T is proud to announce his special guest joining with us this evening, John Petros, Sr. of Mill City Marketing MA. Welcome, Dr. Hill and John, to C2C World TV.
Welcome, everyone. I want to say to start with, it's Tuesday. I think I have the right date. Here's the date, August the 4th, 2026. And I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing to our audience is John Petros Sr. But here's the thing. John is a very respected person and an influencer on the alignable.com platform. He is the ambassador for Mill City. He and I did a hybrid test last year about ambassadors working with each other's audiences. So I think it was July or March. John did this big write-up about me. He had me on all these different channels that he's on. And yeah, Dr. Hill is coming in. And the venue where we were at, we had to make some like last minute changes, and the screen it was only had to do it to the TV, and the monitor was right. You know, technical stuff, right? But we tried that, and I want to tell your audience and to tell both of you, and you too, Robin and Yvonne, are much as the show as I am, because it's with Robin's encouragement and yours, and the things that you two are doing are phenomenal. But I want to say this specifically about John and why I asked him to come on. We've been working closely off and on over the last 12, 18 months or so. And when the opportunity came for me to be his guest, and then now I get to return the favor because we've always didn't complete the whole circle. But here's the other side of the coin. The last guest that we had on our show, Dr. T's Redox Business Builders School, is we had the developer, the originator, the guy who built Engage Pro.
Yes.
We started the Trusted Referral Partner Alliance community. That's a global initiative. John took my invitation and is a part of that. John was also one of the founding leaders in my study pilot that we were doing about Goal Connect or GCIQ nurture working. So a lot of the things that we've done, Yvonne and Robin, have been integrated and folded into the communities with Dr. T's on school.com, Tom Gay's Trusted Referral Partner Alliance. I want to invite both of you. Robin is a member of that group, that community, because what we're really doing, and this is for John has the experience or is seeing the experience of how I promote people. We don't charge them anything. On Alignable, we could do that for 30 days. We started a promotion party on Fridays with we call it TERPA for short. And we promoted the first two, Tom and Ruth Aldano Ricketts, and the Purple Power Group. We're all on Alignable. We went over 1,055 members last Saturday. We took a wheel and we spun the wheel. So we're promoting two people in that group, but having 100 people or more to promote one or two people for that 30-day period. Can you imagine that not only the distribution, but the visibility that these individuals are having? So I kind of talked John into, hey, John, why don't we do this for you and let's promote you and put you on c2cWorldTV World TV on Dr. T's Redox Business Builders School, because it's not just about me or the companies we represent, but it's about people. And you will not find a better human being than John Petros Sr. I don't know, but I haven't met Junior, but I know Senior is a really great guy. So I said all that to say I feel like one of those Baptists. I'm not Baptist, but I feel like one of those Baptist preachers who was announcing the next guy who's going to preach to you in the pulpit, and that's John. And I want to say one of the things in the founding leadership group that I've been building is, and I'm going to read this definition so I don't mess this up, because I want you to think about John when I read this to you as one of the founding leaders. We get a chance to talk every other Sunday or on Sundays between 1 and 4 our times, different time zones. But listen to this and see if this resonates with the audience. And John, if this is a lie, then don't agree with the statement I'm about to make. But I think this fits you. Leadership is not about gaining followers. Leadership is about helping people become more than they believed possible. People support what they help create. Relationships grow when they are intentionally nurtured. And that defines John and why I asked him to be part of our group. So, John, welcome. I'm going to let you take it from here, introduce yourself the way you would like to be known to our audience, and then we'll get into it.
Well, thank you, Dr. Tom. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, ladies. Well, first off, everything Dr. T just said is true. I'm a people person, which is one of the reasons why I like doing the podcast that I have.
Mhm.
My ultimate goal in life is just to help people. And since COVID, I've seen too many small businesses not come back from COVID. And some of those that did come back couldn't survive because they couldn't get their customer base back.
Right.
So in Mill City Marketing MA, my focus is on the small to mid-sized business, getting them known, getting them to get their businesses out there to the public, which is one of the reasons why I became an ambassador for a line. I have an alliance up here that covers northern Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. And in a year and a half, that's built up to 366 members.
Wow.
That's
So
great.
the last year and a half, I've been doing in-person networking at a local restaurant. They love it. I had a friend that when I worked for the local newspaper, he used to write sports, had a morning radio show on a local radio station. And he told me years ago, if you ever do anything at a restaurant, do it on a Monday or Tuesday night.
Oh.
Those are the slow nights.
Mhm.
So on a Tuesday night is when I had my in-person at a restaurant right around the corner. And here's the funny story about that. Name of my business is Mill City Marketing.
Mhm.
I was born and raised in Lowell, Mass, which this year is celebrating their bicentennial year, by the way.
Mm.
They became a city on March 1st. And it was part of the Industrial Revolution in the country. So you want to see factories come to Lowell. Or the Twin City, Lawrence, Mass. And that's where the name of my business came from. The restaurant I do my in-persons in, it took me 3 or 4 months to realize, hey, this restaurant is in the mill building. Was not planned that way. It just happened that way. But yeah, so basically what I do is I do marketing for small and mid-sized businesses on I was corrected, most social media platforms.
Okay.
But since then, I've expanded into radio ads all across the country. I'm affiliated now with iHeartRadio,
Oh.
the largest radio network in the country, I believe. And I can also do 30-second video commercials on a lot of live stream TV and even some prime time, like CBS, NBC, HBO Max, MTV, Disney Plus, Paramount, which I didn't know Paramount had so many different live stream channels, folks, but it does.
Wow.
And one thing I like to mention about that is for businesses that might be listening, it's cheaper to advertise on live stream than it is on social media.
Really?
Okay.
I didn't believe that. The first TV station I connected with was Disney Plus, and they go down to a $500 a month for ads, which is reasonable for small business to begin with.
Okay.
So I didn't believe what they said when they gave me access, so I had to check it out. I put a $500 budget in on Disney Plus. It said I would have, I think I kept a 25 or 50-mile radius. I can't remember. It said I would have over 12,000 views. When I figured that out, that came out to close to 25 cents per view.
Wow.
Put an ad on Facebook now, it's like $1.50, $1.70 per click,
Mm.
and you can still define down who sees the ads or the commercials.
Mhm.
Okay.
And just the other week, I ran the quote figures that marketing uses, which by all standards is not true. But as an example, they say it takes people 6 to 7 times to see an ad before they
Okay.
react.
Mhm.
Okay.
I went with 8, and I went with not 12,000 views, but 10,000 views.
Okay.
8%, 8 times to view an ad, that made it 1,250 people.
Mhm.
And they say out of those that react, 30% will do something.
Oh, that's good.
That made it 40 people. Well, I went worst case scenario. I said 20 people.
Mhm.
Okay.
And on to keep it on the low key, suppose I charge $500 a month,
Okay.
which which is really low for marketing.
Mhm.
That came out to $10,000 a month
Wow.
on a $500 investment.
Mhm.
Where else, folks, can you get a better ROI on your money?
Yeah, very good. Well, maybe out of a home grocery stores. Oops, did I say that? I don't know.
Well, one of the things you find along that line is what I'm going to kind of do a relationship reset. And then this is John's territory. And I brought my high chair with me also for our audience because there's a lot of things that people will say and do in their particular, industry or their specialty. And I very seldom try to have my degrees or my education precede me. And I'd rather people not even, I mean, all this hard work is spent in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, when you add the interest cost of the money I borrowed to pay back to get an education, which I just learned from, I got a letter back from the government saying your loans are forgiven. Uh, I think that's, I think that's a God thing. It's definitely a God thing. But I say that one about me, but two about Rudyard Kipling wrote a poem. I think it's called If. And in one of the lines in the vignette in the poem talks about if you can walk among kings, and keep the common touch. Well, that resonated with me when I was pledging in undergrad school. We started a chapter called Alpha Phi Alpha. I didn't go over, but we brought it because I was also the vice president of the student union back in the day, in my heyday. And we were all about student life and doing things. And one of the things that I learned about fraternity and sororities, and with young and old, whether you're at a professional level or just you're just trying to figure it out, Greek life in general, is that the social things that you learn to do about people. And when you're away from school, you're a teenager, you're trying to figure life out, what you're going to be, do, and have. But it's also about, as a marketing major too, it's like we buy into as organizations or business people, small or large. I have to have an advertising budget. I've got to get, I think it's called, the initials are ROAS, my return on my advertising sales.
Exactly.
And that's a whole different industry by itself. And they trick us like they
Mhm.
used to do back in the 70s about the war on drugs, and they came out with a commercial like this is your brain and fire pan. Remember that commercial? And
Yeah.
then they put some scrambled eggs. This is your brain on drugs.
Mhm.
Well, it was effective, but it just wasn't the total truth because if you buy into the idea of television, radio, technology of its day as we were growing up, and now all the buzzwords like artificial intelligence, augmented intelligence. Now you have different brands. I'm going to pretend that AI is like coffee. Somebody likes Folgers. Somebody else likes Hills Brothers. Somebody else likes Nescafe. It doesn't matter the brand. What matters is the modality of the audience you are trying to reach, whether it's local, whether it's national or international. You're going to pay to reach that audience. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is we spend money to reach other human beings, and the reason why many commercials don't work and why advertising agencies exist today, because they're running focus groups and feasibility studies, and they use the right word with the right right demographic. Don't wear this color, wear that. Don't drink this, drink that. Yvonne, remember that thing you and Paul and I and Robert were talking about, the, what is it, DNA ice cream or something, and
Oh, yeah.
that was over my head. Well, tonight, what's over my head a little bit is I don't get all that stuff about advertising and marketing, because two things happens. Here's the thing. Robin Eddleman was a person that I promoted in a group called the Purple Power Partner Group. We formed that group for free, unalignable. Nobody pays anything to be members.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of being other-centric and lifting up someone else and what they do, because John has a certain size in his alliance and his community, so do I. I might be a little bit larger than John, not because of location, but because I really worked it and took it over from somebody else. So when people look at me as an ambassador on Alignable, and John knows this to be true, there was a gentleman that we have to pay kudos to, and by the name of Chuck Casto. Chuck Casto is probably responsible for many of us being infamous, some of us, and then the others are famous,
Yes.
just because he had an idea called the Local Business Person of the Year contest for small business owners.
Yes.
And for 6 or 7 years ran that contest. And for those of us who were trying to play by the rules and say, well, if in your community you're doing all the things you do to promote small business and marketing and that type of thing, lifting up others, we supplanted that contest, even though they didn't have it. And that wasn't the intent. And they let Chuck go from corporate. But the notion of, I'm sorry being so long-winded, but the notion is, what if I can lift up another person on Alignable? Well, I chose Robin one day, I think it was April or May, and promoted her with a little template that we use. And I took a Go Connect Meet Link profile tool from Tom Gay. And all it is an accumulation of your Alignable profile, your LinkedIn profile, your website on one document. I took a portion of that and made that the content about Robin, which was Robin's voice. Here's what I do, here's how I do. And I already knew her. I could have wrote something myself, but it was easy to take that one tool, create the content for the promotion of Robin and her business. And in doing that for 30 days at no cost to Robin, I remember the first day I did it, she had 700. Well, for the month, I'll just say the aggregate number was 788 people saw the promotion that I did for Robin, but I only had access to 15,000 members on Alignable in my personal network. So that, I don't know how you would figure that out, John, like you did the 25 cents per person. But all I knew is Robin had more people connect. And I was like, oh my God, who are these people? They love Robin.
Yeah.
And we had, I don't know, she had like 50 or 60 people actually wanted to have a conversation with Robin, wanted to do business. What it taught me was you can lift up and promote people as a community for $0. Zero.
Right.
And what if one person did business with Robin and whatever she was doing, that was all revenue for her? Now she has to talk to the tax man, 12 months from now, but she's still smiling. Well, we had an idea of what would happen if we had 100 people in a community promote one person. Well, guess what? We started doing that about a month ago, but I did it in February. So for $0, we've got hundreds of people now. We've translated that into Purple, into trusted referrals, and you get to promote someone by lifting them up. $0. We can't predict who's gonna do business with you or be an ideal, but you don't do that even when you add
That's
advertised,
right.
correct? Am I
That's
saying that right,
right.
John?
That's true.
So bringing John into this community, he's got a podcast, he can distribute and talk to people, but there's nothing more fun than John Petros being promoted by Dr. Hill, one little guy out of thousands of alignable people, access to 15,000.
Right.
And then I say, hey, Robin, hey, Paul Odendahl, hey, get one or two others. Let's promote John.
Yeah.
Now there are literally thousands who will see the promotion of that individual. We've lifted that community up in purple, in alignable, and these are free or paid. And think of the power of this.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to do that for another with no ulterior motive, no expectation. What do you think Robin and John feel about Dr. Hill, Yvonne? I know I haven't promoted you yet, but what do you think? Could you share that with us? I know this is John's time, but I want to get your opinion. What do you think?
Are you
My-
talking to Yvonne, right?
Yes, Yvonne.
Okay.
So for
Yeah.
Yvonne, that question
Yeah,
is for you.
no, it's such a great idea that Robin and I are doing something with c2cWorldTV.com. Since you asked me, that's why I'm bringing it up. But I'm not. We're not revealing that total thing
Oh, okay.
because it's a breakout secret and it's going to be
Oh,
hot. And one of the things is it's a money buster for. And
oh my goodness.
you weren't paying anything to promote, but I'll leave it.
Understood. I'll leave it stay there. So, but you got the idea. So here I am with John today saying, I'm using this tool at the encouragement of Robin, and both of you encourage me. It's like, Doc, you can do your own thing. You can.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Now I'm applying this tool
Mhm.
to the Trusted Referral Partner Alliance, which is global, to the Referrals
Yeah.
Made Easy community, which is global, which is national, which is my own school now. We put these shows into
Yeah.
that. Somebody else from Canada was telling me how to do that, and they're working with me with on my YouTube channel, my own channel. Now all of
Yeah.
a sudden, people are going to see John in a different light, and I hope that John takes today as a testimony to him and to both of you that I think when God gives us the potential and the tool daily, for me, I had this thought this morning. Did I thank you today? Because Robin asked me to do something. If you tell me no, I know it's not going to work anyway, but because of the encouragement from people like both of you, and especially John, and as ambassadors, I want he and I and other ambassadors to lead the way for other leaders, which is why I read that statement, that John is going to be able to leverage what he already does as a person, but to take the tools that he has and it will accentuate everything that he's doing. And so when audiences look at this interview today, I haven't done this much talking. Oh, golly, since you guys just had me by myself. John is like, why am I here today? Well, he's here because I love him. I'm loyal to John. He's a leader. And it's kind of like one of those Moses things that when you have other people lifting you up on both arms,
Right.
and to leverage this tool, if you see all the things behind him, he and I can look back a year ago, but also at this moment and say, this is an inflection point that John Petros's business is going to grow exponentially.
Mhm.
You don't have to blame me. You can, but not blaming me, but to say, look what we did by offering other distribution channels for $0 to help promote others in our communities that we represent. And maybe that'll catch on, save people money. Now, I was in another industry. We call it the legal term was called replacement, and in financial services. So when we showed up, I won't say that name of the company, but when we knocked on the person's door, the competition was talking about our mothers and our, who we were genetically, and we were other expletives that when we came and said, we're here to educate you about what you have, and it was always better for the consumer because the way we never made a sale on the first visit, we always took an educational approach. If I told you the name of the company, you go, oh, I spent 45 years with that organization. Here's the takeaway. I can tell you that what we're about to do with promoting, people who do ads and marketing are going to go, oh, you with that Dr. Hill guy, you're with this community, you're taking money out of our pocket. I'm going to say to him, move over, dude, because we're coming. So
Yes.
I'm going to come back to John and just say, John, thank you for. It was a long-winded way of just saying thank you for your leadership and for what you do. And I want to ask you, John, a question. How do you see how I and we can best support you in what you do? I'm going to start with that was my loaded question, my most important question I ask people, but you weren't prepared. But I just want to get, how can I best help serve you, John?
Just by what you do, promoting me out there to people that don't have a clue who I am or what I do, which is primarily what I do with my podcast. Bring guests in from Alignable, bring them in on my podcast, and just get them out. My podcast is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. How many people does that go before?
Mm-hmm.
And they can always go to my YouTube page and look at any of my past ones.
Yes.
Is it also possible, John? Let me same question is kind of loaded, but let me just drill down just a little bit. If and to be with some specificity, you have an audience there in Massachusetts. You're an ambassador who has a North American reach, U.S. and Canada. What one thing would you want people in your audience, in this audience, to know about John that they could take away, something maybe concrete, and say, I can't wait to talk to this guy? What would you want them to know about you?
I'm the type of person that is willing to help. I'll give you an example.
Mhm.
I tell people I fell into my podcast. By that, I mean a year and a half ago, I had a client down in North Carolina who was starting up a nonprofit. And she was working with different people from Alignable in different ways. And she had some marketing questions, primarily how to get people to donate money to her nonprofit, which she didn't have any coming in at the time. So she was kind of leery of asking for my help because she didn't have any money. I said, don't worry about the money. I'll help you get to that point. And when I met her, she was already doing a podcast with a guy that been doing, him and his wife been doing podcasts for over 10 years. And he has a girl that does the technical things, the live streaming and everything. So I was hopping on podcast with her. And at one point, I think she got a little depressed. Her nonprofit wasn't growing the way she had hoped. 3 weeks, she did not show up for her podcast. I didn't, and a couple of other people would still pop in. The third week, the guy that has the network goes, John, have you ever thought of doing a podcast? I said, well, I've been thinking about it. Why? He goes, good. You want to start now? My first podcast was 10 minutes after he asked me that question. That
Wow.
was a year and a half ago. I've been doing it every Friday.
Wow.
Like me, and it's his network. I call him my co-host.
Mhm.
I bring
Ed.D.
him into it like the last 15 minutes or so, and he's better at asking some questions. He's been doing it a lot longer than I have. I'm getting better. Um, but yeah, if you run into any businesses that are not that well known, that want to be known, hey, send them my way. I'm willing to work with whatever budget they have.
It's
Mhm.
great.
I think that's
John,
Like
do
her,
go
she
ahead.
didn't even have a budget at the time.
Do you remember, John, when you had me on your I don't know if you remember this, but I do. And I think it was my first time. You were just again still breaking yourself into this venue, and we were still doing a contest. And this was before we even were doing the hybrid stuff. And we met on Chuck's Wednesday calls. He called it the Power Networkers or something like that. And the people who were really climbing the charts in the contest. And you had me come on, unless you don't want your birth date to be known. I won't say the year, but I do remember the day, the month, and the day. I won't say. I'll let you go ahead.
March 7th.
March 7th. So that weekend, either the weekend of your birthday or the week following, you asked me a question about, you had these acronyms that you would always talk about. And I think it was called FLY or FIRE. Do you remember the question you asked about? You had an acronym. It was either FLY or FAST, or it was an F acronym. And you said it represented some of the things that you had experienced up until that day. Do you remember the acronym that you were using? Or what stuck in my mind was, it helped because you were using it to define me. We were just meeting, and you hadn't become an ambassador quite yet. You were in the middle of it. So it preceded you becoming an ambassador. You remember that incident a little bit? You had an acronym, and you had the guy named Santa Claus on. His other name, we knew his legal name, and you had two or three of us come on at the same time. And while we were waiting for him, he said, well, I got this acronym, and it just helps me ease into how I ask people questions. And it was something to do with fast and fire and Friday, something. Long story short, since you don't remember, I'll move on to say this. That's when I knew, and this was before Robin, because she was with another industry. Well, she was in the radio industry with another, organization. And she was telling me, well, Dr. Hill, you got the perfect voice for radio. You should be in radio. I'm like,
Yeah, it was
I don't know. Go ahead.
like from day one. We had our 7 minute when we first met, and it's marking it. I said, "You're in radio, aren't you?" No. I said, "I am." I mean, that was like the whole thing. Is like, I don't even know him, and I'm like, "Oh, you need to do radio. You need to get there, right?" I was just awe because I just knew it in my heart. It was like, wow, yep,
Right, right. And that
yeah,
was not too far from the time that, John, we were meeting, or not long after. And
yeah.
so now here I am. Robin calls 2 or 3 years later. We've known each other a couple of years. And it's interesting that how God works with a lot of different people. And John, you in particular have been, working. And I shared a story with John that I would always listen to other people when John would try to have them as guests on this podcast. And he was always getting the Texas two-step. You guys know what the Texas two-step is, right? And we won't mention names, John. Won't mention names, but he would ask the person, come on, or come to my Smart Connect. And the person would say, okay, I'm in the neighborhood. This person was also in Massachusetts, in the Boston area. Okay, I'm coming. And every week, you would hear John say, when you coming? We got a seat for you. And the person, don't, John. And the person I would watch in agony, and I would say to myself, why won't the guy just tell me I'm not coming? But John was persistent. He would always ask these guests, always ask. So here's Robin. You got the perfect voice for radio. Oh, everybody loves you. I'm like, who are you talking to, Robin? I don't know. I can't find people when I want to do business. I got to think about it on the weekend. Who should I talk to? These people are dodging me. I think I'm the only one in the world that everybody says no to. And so I said, well, I don't want to be like this other person that was doing John. So when we came up with the idea of doing this hybrid thing as ambassadors, and we got that idea from another person, and when we did it, they were like, you guys can't do cross programs. It's not part of the thing. And we had already did it. And so it was like a natural thing for us to do, right, John? And yesterday and today, like we had an ambassador meeting today, that Alignable's coming out something new, and we got our marching orders, and we all need to walk like little soldiers. And even though we don't work for Alignable, and we don't get paid, we're all servant leaders. I'm saying to myself, this isn't new. Robin and I talked about it, I think the night before or whatever. And I said, what did you think about it? And I shared your sentiment and feedback with the fellows this morning. And you know what I thought about? And even Robin said, because this is John and I, if you're already doing things that are organic, that's not new. John and it's not new. It's not new. John and I talked Sunday about the Lowell the Greek festival. I've never been to Lowell. I can't even spell Massachusetts. I know it's got some vowels in it and a couple consonants, but
And you pronounce it as another chore, right?
That's another chore, right? But when you listen to John, about 150,000 people were at that event last weekend. And we're just talking on Sunday. We weren't talking business. I don't know how to say return on investment. I just did, but I mean, I don't understand it in terms of advertising. But I know John, and I know that the effort that he produces with the people in his community, being a member of that community. John, speak to them about the festival and what it meant to you and for your business and how you've been able to help those people. Talk a little bit about the festival
Well,
or
give you an
part of our
example.
conversation. Yeah. Mhm.
It was it was last weekend, and it's a 3-day festival. It started 42 years ago with a group that was known as the National Folk Festival Committee. And they used to go to a different city every year and put this weekend festival on. They came to Lowell. Lowell is so diverse with nationalities. I don't think there's a nationality we don't have in Lowell. And they were so impressed with the turnout. What they do is they block off pretty much the whole downtown area. At that time, there was 7 stages. Now it's 6 set up throughout the area. And they had all these different ethnic bands or groups performing on the different stages at different times. All kinds of ethnic food, all kinds of ethnic crafts throughout the streets. And they stayed in Lowell for 3 years because of the crowd that showed up that first year.
Wow.
The city picked it up after that. And Dr. Tom, I don't think I told you this one yet. This past weekend was the 39th year Lowell has put it on, and it is still one of the largest free folk festivals in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
can never forget how many years Lowell's put it on, because Sunday is me and my wife's 39th wedding anniversary.
Yes.
Wow.
This past
We
Sunday or
got
coming
married
up?
the
Did you?
first we got married the first year that the city was running the folk
Did,
festival.
did you say
I
last
just
Sunday,
realized that
John, or this Sunday? I didn't mean to
this
talk over you.
coming Sunday is our anniversary.
Happy
Wow,
anniversary to
happy for
you.
sure, for sure. Ours was last Sunday,
I
and it
was
was
gonna
just number
say, yeah,
32.
yeah.
Right.
Happy
Ours was,
belated, yeah, to you
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
And
would you listen? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I enjoy the folk festival so much. I've been at it since the National Folk Festival started 42 years ago. And I've had the experience to be in every aspect of it. The first 5 or 6 years, I was working with the auxiliary police in the city, so I was on the detail all weekend. Then I was working
Impressive.
for the local newspaper. They had a tent set up on one of the main streets. I was working their tent for a while. Then I took a few years off, enjoyed it as a spectator. Now, my youngest ones were going to the Greek school in Lowell. I was involved with the PTO. So, of course, the PTO had a food tent they were doing right across from one of the stages. And they haven't been in the school for 2 years, but the last 2 years I've worked their food tent. Why? Because I enjoy it. And yes, I do get to eat free.
You get to taste everything, right? That's cool.
Example, this is one food tent out of, I don't know how many, every nationality. The street where we are is lined up the whole side with food tents. And I know last year that PTO made $36,000
Wow.
just from Friday night, all day Saturday, and Sunday until 5.
Wow.
This year was the first year they ran out of food, even ice cream.
Wow.
Wow.
They ran out of. Now Greek food. Greek people love lamb, right?
Oh yeah, I love lamb.
The first thing they ran out of was lamb for the gyro sandwiches.
Oh.
Early Saturday night. They still had Sunday to go.
Mm.
They went through Sunday with no lamb.
Oh no.
Um, they still had the chicken and the beef ones, though. But
Yeah, not as good,
and then
huh?
they had spinach pies, which they ran out of Sunday afternoon. But baklava they ran out of when they ran out of ice cream, because not only did they sell the baklava separate, but one of the big things that go later in the day is baklava Sundays.
Okay.
So I can only imagine running out of food this year, what they made this year alone. And that's 1/10 out of, I don't know, 30, 40 food tents in the
Wow.
downtown area.
Yeah.
And the one next to us, from the time they start serving food until they close, there is a line that goes around the corner. And
So,
that's
so, so
Laotian food.
suffice it to say, we're at the top of the hour, a little bit over, but I want to say to you, and kind of in closing and wrapping this up, and every time I do this, Yvonne and Robin, I always think about there's just not enough time because there's so much more stuff I want to
Hey,
ask the guests, and I'm like, I've got other questions left, and I looked at the clock, I was like, oh crap. But seriously, John, I have to have you come back. We'll do that if not later in fall, for sure next year. But I want to say in closing to thank again Robin and Yvonne. They have launched and planted a seed like the ones behind me. In my mind, for me to do this, I've got my high chair ready so I can refer to you two and John and others who've been doing this. People are finding out that Dr. Hill isn't a bad interview, so Robin nailed that one. We can carry a good, conversation for a half hour or so, and that's probably enough. People need to hear about me, but about the guests, we've had people see the recordings that I've shared. Haim Ohen, that you couldn't do for his name because it was too many vowels, Yvonne.
yes.
Tom Gay, myself. We've had John Amon. I've gotten. We will have the next broadcast. Leslie Griggs, who is Robin. Talk a little bit about
Oh my
Leslie, who will be
goodness,
on the
Leslie
guest.
Griggs, his family. I believe it's his two uncles. You might have to correct me because I believe you recently talked to him. Started or Ida and invented the tater tot. So now today he has business called Save Our Tots, and that's saving our children from abuse and getting them out of it, right? That's his nonprofit. But he's coming out with his huge, the documentary. You have to, I always pronounce that wrong, so correct me if you may, of the history of the Orida, right?
Yeah,
And
and we watched it last
yeah,
week.
you watched the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, the
And so
trailer. Yes.
for him to have him come on, that's absolutely amazing too, right? Let alone
Yep.
John and everybody else.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, keep bringing it.
August 18th, Leslie Griggs will be my next guest.
Yeah.
And so I can't wait to get other people involved to use this platform, Yvonne and Robin, to help others, to be a light for them. And
Yes.
I don't have a lot of conversation about what I'm doing with Redox because people can look that up and come to the school and the site. But I'll say this again in closing. One of the things that I've learned, and Robin can attest to this, that I've been using this technology. This is my sixth year. I know when I'm not taking it, which I don't not do, but every now and then if I run out, which I try not to, your body feels different and you're different. So this is all foundational. And I usually don't even talk about it this way, but I'm saying this because people who you hear are in health and wellness are always touting, "Oh, I got something for that," or "This will help you with this." And my approach
Yeah.
has been, or when I hear the word pain, you want to, or if you're an athlete, you go, "Hey, I got something," and I stopped doing that for two reasons. One, nobody cares about what I'm doing, and they're not going to buy it. But more importantly, if you find something like I said about leadership, about John, that people support not only what they create, but in closing, let me say this again. People support what they help create, but relationships grow when they are intentionally nurtured. And that's what Robin and John, Paul Otendahl, Richard Brooks, uh, Linda Grace Farley, Roshni Sharma Fleming, Ruth Aldana Ricketts. Those are just the 7 or 8. Steve Kent. Those are the 7 or 8 founding members of this Go Connect Nurture Working pilot that I launched. I invited John to that group. And so this is what we're trying to do, that when you nurture people, if they have something that you need or something that we can help you with, it's easy for us to say, come on down to my house and get a slice of this or get a piece of that. Not will you buy my stuff. It's how can I serve you today? And that's what I tried to ask John. So
Yeah.
I'm going to sign off and give it back to you, Yvonne and Robin. But I really enjoyed today. John is as authentic as the day is long.
Yes.
And I really love and appreciate you, brother. So keep doing you. And we will talk the next time. Yvonne, back to you.
Well, thank you. I really am excited about where this is going. As you can tell, Robin and I have been talking about this for a little while, so we got to get Dr. Hill on to do his own show. I think it's going to take off. I don't care what you think, Dr. Hill. I think you've got it. You've got it. You just take it and go with it. And it's going to work out just fine. But we're always here for you if you need us. We're
Yep.
here for you if you want to have us on anytime. But I just think it's just going to be a great show. And John, I'm so glad that you're here as a member of this now, and you're an ambassador. You work together, and I'm just grateful that you're all here, and it's going to be a success, and that's the way it's going to be. And again, I do want to say, John, and just remind everybody, c2cWorldTV.com is right around the corner. And content creators, you have your own show. You can do whatever you want on there for free. And it's got some other unique twists to it. That's the secret part, the secret sauce that Robin are keeping under our hats. And it's going to be a blast. So we want everybody to kind of be thinking and mulling that over what's coming down the pike, because this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're doing with C2C World TV. And it's got a lot going for it. So
Yes.
with that, Robin, what do you want to add?
Well, I just wanted to lead with the c2cWorldTV.com or add to that because, like, for you, Dr. T, and John, if you guys wanted to be a content creator, it doesn't cost anything when that's up and actually going, right? It's got a lot of working to go. Not a ton, but it's gonna take a little bit longer. But you guys will be on the first page, so there will be no competition with what you do. Okay, you'll be front and center. There'll be other pages to where like other people can be content creator, but not on the first page. There will be no competition, if you
Designated
will,
you. You hear
on
that?
that.
She's
Wow.
So
designated you.
yeah,
Wow.
so
She's giving you a
I
front row
just grab
seat.
it. Yeah, nobody's gonna take Dr. T or John's. Yeah, we've got those positions filled for what Dr. T
Wow.
does, what John does, if you want to accept that invitation. But nobody to compete. Like nobody's going to do what you
Mhm.
guys do on that main page.
Okay.
Now the other pages, like
Different
the
story.
different tabs, yeah. But being on
Oh,
that main page is, yeah, that's going to be great.
and the way the page is lined out is you've got branding, you've got marketing, you've got traveling, all kinds of different segments that are on that home page. But each block has its own
Yeah, but
section.
it's on the main page. It's like
It's on the main
front
page.
and center.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah,
Not
exactly.
not nobody has to go search the tabs or the menu.
That's right.
You're there. Now the
Yeah,
Wow.
and
only thing
nobody has
is
to
just
pay to be
update you.
a member to find you. You're
Yeah,
there.
no.
That's the beautiful part about it is you can get to contacts with no money invested in it.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
So
so.
when you got things up and running, I can't speak for John, I would dare not, but I would say, can you imagine to have John and I
Yeah.
promoting you guys and what you're doing on Alignable, on
Gee, I
LinkedIn,
haven't thought
on
about that.
Facebook, on the
Robin,
Trusted
have I
Group,
thought about
on
that?
Purple Power, on my personal Instagram, on Facebook,
Yes.
on Meta? That's just
Hey,
John and I
And
about
giving
Robin,
what you're
back. I
doing.
want you to be on the front page. That's I'm just like I hope you both will embrace that when that is up and going and
Mhm.
be that content
it's only
creator
a
on that first
positive,
page.
and that's for sure. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
And I'm saying this is just to be funny, but I think there's a point to it. If John and I did it as ambassadors to make the other ambassadors jealous because we got in
Yeah.
early, it was like,
Yes.
oh crap, we didn't tell you about this. Oh my goodness, I
Oh,
forgot.
darn it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So just like if Tom, you're in, just let you all know. And John, if you're in, just yay or nay, whatever you guys want to do. If not, that's okay too. But of course, I'm like really being pushy about it because I know what it can do for you. I know what it's going to do for you guys. It's going to be amazing. So yeah.
Thank you,
does
Uh,
Robin.
anybody feel the
You'll
same
still be
way
on the
about
front
Robin?
page,
Does anybody
not
feel the
like this book that I'm in.
yes,
same
yes.
way?
I
I
Thank
didn't
did.
make
you.
I
Congratulations.
didn't make the
Oh, you,
front page, but I did make my name on the back.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, now you
okay.
get a second opportunity to be on the front page, right?
All
Okay.
right.
So, yeah.
I was telling Robin, was it yesterday or today, Robin, that her new title should be diplomat because
That's
she's
what she thinks.
diplomat,
The
don't you think?
envoy for c2cV World TV. She's the envoy and ambassador for c2cTV World
She's
TV.com.
amazing.
She
So yeah,
is.
she's amazing.
Thank
There's
you
no
guys.
front
I'm very
page.
humbled by
There's no
that.
front page like this one.
Oh, you blanked out there. We lost you.
Where are you at?
The
There you
client
go.
growth. Okay.
Oh,
Growth.
okay.
Hold on.
Okay. What is that
Hold on.
now?
Let me
Tell us what
drop my
that is.
background.
So we have some explanation of what that is. The client
Let me
growth.
drop my background here.
Is that a book or an article or what is that exactly? I don't. Oh, there
That
you
is
go.
going to be a book.
Oh, it's going.
Oh,
Okay.
how
Oh,
exciting.
that's
Wow.
nice.
There
So,
you go,
so,
Jay.
so
So,
we are privy to see before
yeah,
it's a
I
book.
was just gonna say, this is a
That's
yeah.
so fun. Thank you.
He's
Now I
giving us a
got.
Yeah.
The
sneak
same
preview.
group that put this book out.
Oh, okay.
It's a group on Alignable. It's Business with a Purpose.
Hmm.
Okay.
And we just had a meeting today.
Yeah.
And they've been coming out with other books like this,
Hmm.
which is a new thing. You guys are hearing it first.
Okay.
They
Thank
they
you.
they, they were doing a collaborative book for women entrepreneurs, another one for veteran entrepreneurs, another one for reinvented entrepreneurs, which is any of us,
Hmm.
and one for pet business owners. But
Okay.
this one that came out first, it's going to be a second issue with all four of those categories put together
A second
Oh,
because
edition.
it's
wow.
taking more time to get authors put together. There's 42 authors in this book.
Hmm.
They
Wow.
started this the first of the year. It came out in print April 2nd,
Wow.
Nice, nice.
and it was number one on Amazon in two categories before the print edition came out.
Yeah, we
No
all were
Congratulations.
out
kidding.
there like doing, promoting it for free on Alignable. I remember that.
Yeah.
Mm.
They put
Mm-hmm.
it went number one in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
They came out with a whole new series, their expert series. Okay,
Oh.
Okay.
here's the catch to that. They have a system set up for that. You just
Mm-hmm.
go on the platform, answer a couple of questions. I think maybe attach your website or something. It puts the program puts the book together for you.
Oh, oh.
All those books are laid out the same way. So they got this program to do that. How long does it normally take for to get a book published? 6 months to a year?
Depends on your publisher and depends on the audience. Yeah. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
Those expert series books from start to print, 2 weeks or less.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They actually had someone come out in 1 week. They just started that series probably 2.5 months ago. I haven't checked it for 2 weeks. Last time I checked it, there was already 12 of them in print.
Nice.
Wow. That's true. That is
So
nice.
you're a
You want to
marketing
talk about
genius.
uplifting people?
I have a
And like Sue Brooks says, who's one of the ones that put it together, she's done a couple of small books on her own. Here's the trick that she does. You know how sometimes you go to events and they have a bucket or basket that people put business cards in for like a raffle?
mm-hmm.
She throws in one of her short books.
Oh,
So when they
really?
go to pick out the winner, they who put a book in there? You want to talk about free advertising?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I like that idea.
You know what? The clock, we're just coming up on a hard break, you guys. I hate to say,
Yeah, yeah. So it's all
but
good. I'm good,
I
Yvonne.
really
All right.
appreciate you, John, being here and Dr. Hill. Man, amazing. We're just thrilled to have you on board with C2C World TV. Robin,
Yes.
you're priceless. Okay, so
Oh, no,
Thank
no,
you.
no. All credit goes out to everybody. I mean, it's so much unity and I'm having so much fun. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you all for being
all
here.
right.
John, we'll chat later.
See you guys.
Thanks,
Have a great
Yvonne. Thanks,
one.
Robin.
God bless.
All
Bye
right.
Thank you
for
for
now.
having me.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, of course.